Sixth orbit around this planet. That signal always comes from the same point. Let's prepare for a landing, Brad.
Okay.
All right, so it's not a cosmic cloud. But what about life?
Now Karen's gone crazy.
They fought and killed each other off.
Maybe we're not alone.
That's true. Their form here could be based on a different plane of vibrations. Flesh and blood men can't see them.
I saw them. I saw them in the fog, all mutilated and bloody.
I inhabit the body of your late captain. We arranged for several of you to kill each other so that we could take over your bodies.
We'll never submit to a breed of parasites.
Hey, there I am. How you doing, everybody? Scarpad from Scarpad's Comics Treks. Welcome to the first show tonight. We're going to be doing a little movie called Planet of the Vampires, Italian horror science fiction, coming off of course, Horror Fest of 2022. So a nice bridge. And joining me tonight in this discussion of Planet of the Vampires is my main man, Dylan from Dylan's Horrors. How you doing, Dylan?
What's up, my man?
Hey, thanks for coming in. I know Dylan likes his Mario Bava, his Italian horror sci-fi, so be interested to see what you think of this.
I
movie.
think Joe Bob just recently did Black Sunday. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that was a good movie. Dude, that one was nuts. I really enjoyed that one. That was my first watch too, seeing that.
Was this the first time you saw that? Great.
First time for this too.
Perry, my man Perry's down there.
What's up, man?
He watches movies. He plays video games. He even plays a little chess like Bobby Fischer.
I like chess.
That man's pretty good.
Like Andrew Tate.
Chessboard. Like Andrew Tate.
Doing
pretty good,
Perry?
man.
Huh? Top G? Yeah.
G.
We all
You know what I'm
should do
talking
that.
about?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You gotta start doing some of that.
Like this.
You gotta start doing some of that
That guy cracks me
sci-fi 3D chess. I want to see how that shit goes.
That'd be cool. There's an FPS chess where it's like a first person shooter. The chess pieces they kill each other.
That's like
Pretty
Star
cool.
Wars
No way.
chess, man.
Like
Yeah.
Harry Potter in the first Harry
Like in Harry Potter, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
like
Harry
that.
Potter, yeah.
It's pretty tight.
I gotta get into the chess, bro. I used to play that shit when I was
Dude, I
younger,
never
bro.
knew how to play. And then
My
this year
uncle-
I made it a point to learn.
Yeah, my
I
uncle
can-
showed me
I
when
can-
I was
I can
younger.
barely handle
I wouldn't
checkers,
remember
so-
now though.
I have a hard time with checkers, so it's not too much for me.
Oh, dude, I mean, it's a strategic game, no doubt.
So we're looking at a movie from Mario Bava, Italian filmmaker who is mainly known for horror movies, such as like Bay of Blood, Lease and the Devil. He also did Shock, Rabid Dogs. He did Danger Diabolic, Baron Blue. It goes on and on.
Black Sunday, like I said.
Black Sunday, Black Sabbath. With
Black Sabbath. Too.
He did a ton of different movies.
And did he do that freaking Hercules thing?
Hercules,
too?
Hercules and the Mystery World or whatever that is. Yeah, so the man died in 1980, but he was a prolific Italian director. Now, Italian horror films, and there was a lot of those, but there was a whole lot of Italian sci-fi. There was some. I would say this is among the best of them for what I feel is several reasons. None of them excel in like special effects. But what this movie I think really excels is in story and atmosphere and doing things that later movies would go ahead and take into account and use, like Alien borrowed heavily from this movie. So, we're going to discuss some of the various things about it, but, the overall story, movie stars Barry Sullivan, who was a kind of a character actor in the 60s and 70s, did a lot of Westerns, did a lot of TV. The Italians usually like to bring in, as we saw in some of the other movies, American stars to be the main character and then fill the rest in with Italian actors. And they did the same thing that I think Dario Argento does, which is some of this, you'll notice, was filmed in English. Some of it was dubbed. So it's all kind of like that. This is based on a short story called One Night of 21 Hours. So it's a short story in back of it. And I'm just going to go over a couple of things I think would set it apart is I think the cinematography in this movie, Bava knows how to stage a set. So the basic plot, we've probably seen a little bit, is two ships are dispatched. They've been receiving a signal for 2 years. They don't know what it is. They send two ships to investigate. The two ships have problems landing. And then when they do land, both crews are killed off in a timely fashion. Some of the crew on both ships rebel and start killing off each other and trying to kill the captain. And then, we find out that it's for reasons that they want to be taken over. They want to go ahead and take over the ship. But I think what sets this movie apart is that the atmosphere of this movie is top notch. Once they get down to the planet and you're dealing with all the different colors and that mist and the atmosphere is so eerie that it does remind me a lot of Alien when they walk and go out and find the alien ship. So Dylan and Perry, both first time seeing this movie, or
My first time, yeah.
All right, go ahead, Perry. What did you think? We're gonna start off. We're gonna start off basically by what I'd like to do, as I said, is I'd like to talk about what you liked, what you didn't like, the overall structure of the movie, just in broad terms.
So this is my first Bravo. What is his name? Mario Bravo.
Mario Bava.
All right, my first Bava film. I like how you mentioned the colors because I thought that was a really cool part of the movie. I did enjoy the colors. I don't know. I felt like the pacing kept throwing me off, and like you were saying, how they dubbed in some parts. Was this not all filmed in English? Because it was the mouth was moving.
Filmed in Italian.
It was filmed in Italian. Okay,
Mostly
that was
doing
throwing me off.
Italian. I think Sullivan did a lot of his stuff in English, and then he was dubbed in Italian.
Yeah, one of them did look like he was speaking in
right. The
English.
main actor.
Yeah, like that's how it was throwing me off.
When I
Like,
was
what's
seeing
going
his look,
on?
I was like, his look pretty good.
Yeah, unbeknownst to a lot of Italian movies, a lot of science fiction movies, I think this one does throw you into the action pretty quick. So some of them you sit around for an hour before things get going and talk a lot.
They
But this
start
does
back.
kind of ramp
I'll
it up.
tell you one thing. You need to re-edit this video, bro, because don't nobody know what movies they're here for. It just says Scarpad, Sci-Fi, Sojourns. You didn't put Planet of the Vampires.
Oh, all right. Well,
You have to do that after. You
yeah,
can do it right now easily, but I'm just letting you know now.
Yeah.
Easy
But-
fix. It shouldn't be called Planet of the Vampires. Joe Dante said it, or I think it was originally Terror in Space.
That's a way better name because I was sitting there and I didn't find no vampires.
Yeah, that's another. That's why I had to watch it twice. I had to watch it twice. First, I watched it. I was like, man, we'll go get into it. I'll let Perry go. But
well, American International Pictures, when they brought it over here,
then it helped my viewing.
Yeah, they wanted to really dub a real flashy name. I guess technically the aliens
I don't know why they picked
were
that name.
kind of vampires because they're kind of.
They're more parasites.
It's like a life force situation
like
where they're not vampires.
Right.
They even called them parasites,
are,
you know?
Right. Right. Hey, go ahead, Perry.
Yeah. Well, besides the vampire stuff, every time someone died, I was looking for the bites. I'm like, there's no vampire bites. How are they? Where are the vampires? So that was throwing me off a bit. Yeah, it felt like you said it was a short story. It felt like a short story. It felt like a lot of scenes were like dragged out. And I know, like, you know, I'm used to modern day stuff.
I'm
and
surprised that it was like an hour and 27. I thought this would be like an hour.
Yeah,
honestly.
They could have trimmed off like a good 30 minutes and it would have been fine. You know,
yeah,
like they could have sped it up a little bit. It felt like I wrote down a note here. It felt like a stretched out Star Trek episode, but with a less engaging story direction.
That makes sense since it was based off a short story.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it had that kind of had that kind of feeling, a TV episodic.
Yeah.
You know, I think toward the end maybe they a lot of it get kind of redundant. But I think the middle part of the movie where they're going out and they're just searching out for the other crew.
Oh yeah, the crashed plane or whatever, or the crashed ship.
The other crashed ship, and they find another ship.
Like I love the other ship with the giant. That ship was so cool, and like the way he brought out like a tuning fork. I'm like, oh, this is like actually pretty cool, you know. Like I enjoyed that. I wanted to see what race of creature was that. You know, I was kind of interested in that. But yeah, no, overall, I thought it was
skeleton and shit.
And that's
that was cool.
I don't know quite if that's the race that is trying to get into them, or just another race that they killed off.
I think it's another race that
just killed off.
I thought that was the race that like put them to extinction, almost to extinction, basically.
Yeah,
because they were saying that they were like, obviously their race was like on the border of extinction. They were like hiding in the ground or whatever, you know. That was another thing. It's like were they hiding in the ground because out of nowhere we just get this scene where they just come out of the ground.
Those
are
the people those are the crew of the other ship that they buried. Yes, that's why they
buried them.
The zombies, they buried them and they put the metal on top of them like a gravestone. And they put them in bags.
They put them in the plastic bag. Yeah,
that's them coming back to life.
I got you. Yeah,
the crew came back to life. That's who was fighting them. Was their own crew.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Because they lifted up the coffin and they're like, wait, what's going on? Where are they?
Because they're parasites, and they also it had a little bit of a vibe of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where you get your own people coming back, especially with the whole sleep thing, where if they go to sleep, they get inhabited. Like the guy was coming in to sleep, trying to break the ship up and stuff like that. So so it had a little bit of that vibe. Yeah,
zombie,
more like zombies, right?
Zombie vibe.
And that's why those two guys at the end, they thought they were alive. They were already dead. The people that
I don't know. Terror in Space would have been a perfect name for this.
Yeah,
Terror in Space would have been a better name. Okay, go ahead, Dylan. Overall structure.
Was that it, Perry?
Yeah.
So man, I'm not the craziest about the story, to be real. I like the parts that, you know what I mean, like when they're landing the ship. I'm more on the atmosphere and style and music with this for me.
Yeah, the music.
To be honest, because the vampires thing really threw me for a loop at first, and then once I went back, like I was like, no matter what, I was like, that story fucking blew. I was like, but it looked pretty fucking cool. Styly was awesome. It was like really like quiet at times, which was very like creepy and eerie, which I really like that. The music went really well with it. Then I watched the special features because I was like, man, there's got to be a little something more to this. I know Scarpad wouldn't really love this as much as he does if there wasn't something a little bit extra. I got into the special features, and I understood what was going on more, especially that they're not vampires, that shit got changed. That happens with Italian films where their names will get changed multiple times. Yeah, I think the story isn't bad. It's just mediocre and it's stretched out. This could be it's an hour and 27. I think it really could be like an hour and 7. You could cut 20 easily out of it just to speed it up. I know back in the day, you know what I'm saying, this was the bee's knees, though. You know what I mean? To see this in 1965, I know that there's some great practical effects.
Yeah,
it's just you feel transported to a different world. It feels like an awesome Star Trek shit.
And it's not a complex set. It looks pretty basic.
Yeah, they don't go crazy deep into the stuff. Yeah. It's pretty once you figure okay, these aren't vampires. It's more like a zombie type invasion of the body snatcher type situation. You're okay, I understand that. That's where the vampire thing just threw me for a loop. But I think their outfits, straight 60s, but I love the atmosphere. I love when they land on the planet.
Yeah, we'll get into cinematography
the effects.
And stuff
I love
in a second.
the set designs on this, just gorgeous. And the music is really good, man. Music is really creepy and eerie. There's just so many. I mean, I guess maybe it being longer gives you some of those quiet, creepy scenes. But yeah, one of the weakest things for me would have been just the little bit of pacing and it just being seeming just a little, the plot just took a little, a little long. Could have just been trimmed a little, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm surprised for 1965 that this was an hour and a half. Yeah. That is very, because these movies, I feel like we're an hour back then.
Yeah. Well, you all set down?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I think to me, I mean, the one thing I see is I love the middle of this picture. Obviously, all the planet stuff. We'll get into the cinematography next. But one thing that this movie, I think, did do that people didn't see in the 60s was a little bit of a twist ending. The twist ending being that in the end, the captain must have fell asleep and both those people were inhabited. And you thought through the whole movie, although they never said it, that they were from Earth. Well, they weren't from Earth. They were aliens. And at the end of the picture, after the crewmate who kills himself destroying the meteor thing they couldn't go back to their home planet. They were going to go, the parasites were going to take the captain and the girl back to the home planet and take over that planet. But they couldn't because the meteor thing, whatever, is down. All they could do is go to the planet that was in front of them. That was Earth. So they ended up going down to Earth. They weren't they were not from Earth. These people were not
saying the original crew.
Both original crews were not from Earth.
Yeah, well, I figured both original crews are same race.
The same race, but they were not.
They're not from Earth. Okay, right. That I didn't know.
That was the whole twist. The twist was
you thought at the end that the captain. I just figured they were going. I was now they're going to take over Earth on Skrull
You thought you thought the captain and the girl were, from Earth, and you thought the guy was from Earth, and they escaped. Now they really go back to Earth.
Prequel to the invasion of the body snatchers, man.
Yeah, so now they because they can only go to Earth because of their wounded ship. Now they're going down to Earth. Will they accept us? They said, well, they'll have to. We'll see. And that was a twist that you didn't see a lot in science fiction movies and films in that day. And the story was a little bit deeper. I know you say it's not very deep. It isn't really, but the middle of this movie where they're battling the crew. Let's get into that now. The cinematography.
There's some great plot points that were taken and expanded on, but they only had so much in 1965. He only had so much money, and I feel like he put all his money into the set designs and stuff. Right. You know what I mean?
I mean, and we'll talk about that next. I mean, cinematography, special effects, and the music. Well, I mean, I think these sets were phenomenal. I mean, the ship. I mean, compared if you go out and look at other science fiction, even American or Italian science fiction of the day, the sets on this movie, this was a high production cost value movie. They spent money on this thing. It wasn't just cheap.
How much did they spend on this, you think?
I have to go look. So we can look it up. I mean, the set design was huge. I mean, they were walking into these big open areas on both ships. They overused them, but they used them a lot. But they still were big, well-designed sets. And then when they got out on the planet, that's where everything. I mean, that whole Italian ethic, the aesthetic of the mist and the volcanoes and the bubbling water and everything else that was going on, and when they saw that mist roll in, and as that mist rolled in, that was what was reactivating and bringing back to life all the dead crewmen because they had buried them all, and that's where they showed them rising out of the grave. They're breaking the thing out. Yeah. And that's who, and that whole area, that whole ship area, and everything involved in that was so top notch and so well done to create that whole eerie feeling of the planet. And even though they didn't probably go that far, it felt like they were walking away because of just the overall set design. Everything was mountain based. They were walking up and looking down. I thought they did a great job. The music was ominous from the very beginning. If you go back and on the Blu-ray, they have the original Italian music. I don't think I liked that as much. It almost sounded like an 8-bit video game more than this.
Wow.
This music was really well done with just kind of like the bang,
either.
It was done really well, and the special effects, as I said, it was all the practical. And this movie really, for its time period, the gore was up there. We had some wounds, and we had some blood, and we had some things that you didn't see in movies in the 60s in America or Italy. So a little bit more blood and stuff there. So I really liked the makeup effects, the practical effects. The spaceship stuff was terrible, but it always is. But once they get down to the planet, because I think it looked like a Hoover. Once they get down to that planet, I thought they did a great job on building it. That's why I really love the movie. Go ahead, Perry. What do you think about the cinematography, special effects, and music?
Before Perry goes, Two Gun said budget estimated 200,000. Dude, there's so many names for this, Perry. Too, dude, you gotta hear a couple of these, bro. Yeah. So Terror in Space, The Haunted World, Space Mutants, Planet of Blood, The Haunted Planet, or did I say it? No, I didn't say that. The Planet of the Damned, The Outlawed Planet, The Planet of Terror.
And pretty much any one of those would have been better than the one they picked.
Yeah. Right?
Seriously.
Oh man. Okay.
But you know, American Studios. They picked the worst name.
Yep. Vampire so.
Yeah. Let's see. Cinematography. I like the way they would pan the camera. Like when it first started off and they were in the ship. You start on one side of the ship and he's walking over to the girl and the camera's just panning and panning and panning, and you have this massive ship that's wide open space, and it just looked massive. I thought that was really cool. And every time we seen one of these vampires or parasites, the camera would do this crazy zoom, and it would zoom in on them real quick and then go away.
Well, that scene where she closed the door in the locker and the thing's there and it zooms right in.
Yeah,
you see that a lot in horror movies and Italian movies.
Oh man, that was so cool. And then the practical effects, I watched that on Amazon, so I don't know if they remastered it or whatever, but it looked really cool. It definitely held up. The one scene when he flashed his chest open, you got see almost bone inside.
Yeah, but that didn't look that looked, you could tell it was rubber. But for back then,
that looked for 1965. That's crazy. That in 2022, I'm sitting here watching it on my TV. I'm like, holy shit, that looks crazy. That's they did a good job with that. Definitely the cinematography, the music. Was that a violin that they were playing that every time you see one of them?
Probably.
Yeah,
it could be.
Yeah, that was super cool. So I definitely like the music. The cinematography was good. The special effects is probably my favorite part of the whole movie. I really like the way everything looked. The suits, the space suits when he had the helmet on.
That was very Italian with the leather. Yeah.
Yeah, with the zipper going up. I'm like, yeah, dude, the spacesuit's got a zipper like that in the front. Like, but it looked good. It looked cool, you know. Like, I want one of those, you know.
Shit,
But,
they didn't even test the air before they went on the planet. They could have all been dead in 2 seconds.
Yeah, the one guy walked out. It was kind of weird how they left the ship. It was like a tube coming out, and then it would like open up. It felt a little odd and it was kind of unique, you know.
Well, they did this special effect thing too. I don't know if you noticed it, but the ship, when it was sitting on the planet, it was generating some sort of like sparkly stuff under the one of the areas. Like, I don't know if they were starting up an engine or something, but they made the attempt to make it look better than what it, really probably should have.
It was.
Looked.
Yeah.
So, Dylan,
What up?
cinematography, special effects, and music.
Well, as I said, those are my favorite parts of this movie. And I think cinematography looks great. One of the greatest things that I've noticed from Mario Bava is his eye for stuff. He has one of the most unique Italian eyes I've seen, man. Like, even over, especially for he's obviously who influenced Argento and,
Well, he was a cinematographer too before he was a director. So.
Well, that would make sense, man, because, dude, that's where he excels, bro. His cinematography, set designing. He just really brings an atmosphere to you, man. And it's like you almost don't even give a fuck what the story is because you're just like, dude, you're just putting me in this awesome world that I'm just down for, dude. Like, if you gotta check this other one he did, Perry. It's called Black Sunday. I watched. It's like black and white, but just the whole vibe of it. And then that Black Sabbath movie. That's another black and white one with Boris Karloff, just playing this creepy ass character. But they just have these insane, atmosphere to them. And the score to this I really enjoyed. I did hear the Italian version. It's a little more wackier. I feel like makes it a little too goofy, which, Robbie always says the Goblin score always makes it better, but not in this case, man. The score they put for the regular, U.S. version is awesome, dude. Eerie, creepy,
super creepy,
so damn good. That's the one thing. They fucked up on the title, but they did damn good on this score, dude. That's another one of the great things about this. Robbie.
Well, I think a lot of the score was still the original score of the movie. I think where they originally they just replaced around the titles. But I think a lot of the score was still semi-original. It wasn't complete. They just redid the titles when they did it for Americans. But I just thought they did a really good job with the color palette and everything too. There wasn't a lot of color movies back in 1965 either. So
it's insane that
seeing this in a theater.
Cameron tries to say he never saw this because there's just too. If there'd be one plot point, but there's just too many. Like the landing, just the whole. There's too many coincidences that just line up perfectly. It is, man.
Yeah, Alien. I think obviously, but it doesn't borrow, but it's inspired by. Definitely all these guys were inspired by all these movies.
Exactly, man.
And these '60s movies had a lot of inspiration.
Aliens. I would say Aliens a way better film than this. Overall,
I love Alien.
Fucking love that. But yeah, man, everything. That's the great thing about film stuff. That inspires you,
Right.
But.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so then let's go on. Interpretation of the story and favorite character. Well, I think my interpretation of the story now obviously was trying to do a kind of put a familiar take on a sci-fi twist on a horror take of zombies, the dead coming back, but also. Of not knowing who your people are. I don't know what was going on in Italy in the 60s because I can kind of guess, since they did have a dictator, that it wasn't all that fun. So I would imagine a lot of this, where you have your crew coming down and they're being taken over, first thing that happens when the guy lands after this trouble landing is everybody starts trying to fucking kill him. Everybody starts jumping on top of him and trying to kill him. Then trying to kill each other. And then they did that. And the other ship, they killed. I think everybody got killed in the other ship for the most part, except for a couple guys. So you didn't know, who your friends were. You didn't know these garbage guys coming back. They were inhabited now by these parasites or aliens that take form when they sleep. So maybe some of that was inspired by some of the upheaval going on in Italy at the time, and some of the stuff's going on even in America at that time. But they took that and they really, he built the story around, I think, the effects, the planet, the atmosphere, and really up until that time, a twist ending that a lot of people weren't doing twist endings. I mean, you saw twist endings in Twilight Zone for the most part, a lot. But there wasn't a whole lot of twist endings in cinema. So I think that's what makes this a little bit unique. So as far as my favorite character in the movie, it's tough because none of the characters really stand out a lot. Yeah. They're all kind of archetypes. The captain's very much an archetype. I guess if I was going to say who I like the most, I would probably give it to, besides women who are hot. And that's one thing about Italian movies, man.
Where I'm going.
They always put the hottest babes in there, the blonde and the brunette. So,
redhead, baby.
So I liked the character of the second in command, the girl that was with the captain. I liked her a lot. I thought she probably had the most to do in the movie because she interacted a lot with the other characters. So you don't know exactly how long her and the captain were taken over. But I think if you go back and watch it, it was probably more than you thought. So I'd say probably my favorite character was the second command girl. I like Barry Sullivan. He was good in the as a lead, as the captain. But obviously, I think my favorite character is probably the planet because I think the planet was done such a way, and all the zombies were done in a certain way that they're almost the best character in the movie. What do you think, Perry, as far as interpretation of the story and favorite character?
All right, so interpretation of the story, it felt like a survival story. Like these creatures, whatever the hell they are, they're gonna do whatever they need to do to make sure their race lives on. Mm-hmm. So from their perspective, they're not the bad guys. Like they're just trying not to die out, which I could totally see that. But they're kind of dicks at the same time for having these people kill each other just so they could survive. I don't know. I feel like when the sun's about to blow up and you have your planet there, it's dying. Who wouldn't try to do something like that to survive? And I guess that goes with what you were saying about the dictatorship at that time. It's just people trying to survive by any means necessary. And then by favorite character, it's probably going to be the one zombie, which I don't know his name, but it was one of my favorite scenes. He was dead inside and they went to get his birth certificate or whatever and put it in the machine, and he woke up and you've seen him. And then she freaked out, passed out, and she woke up. He's back on the table.
Yeah,
that was the slickest thing, dude. Like this zombie's fly, dude. Like
I know he didn't want to just kill people. He wanted to blend in, man. He didn't want to give it away.
That was so smooth the way he did that. And he was back on the table.
Because they weren't really zombies. They were their people, and they were gonna, had their agenda. So it was all about the agenda. But they can look menacing at the same time. So
yeah. So that guy, I thought he was super cool. So yeah, that's what I got for my character and my interpretation of the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dylan,
I'd probably go with that redhead, man. I think that she was tight with the captain, or the
obviously.
But then also the guy that Perry said that jumps off the table and then kind of like flashes his chest.
Yeah.
Is that the same guy, or are we talking different?
I think it is the same guy.
But yeah, man, he was good. Yeah, like you said though, not many like really stand out. They kind of all like blend together in a way. But yeah, it's still definitely a fun film.
Okay. Yeah, I think, and as I said before, I think for the time this was made, and looking at what was being made in England, like a Hammer Films. They were also doing a lot more adult stuff and a lot more gore and a lot more blood. So when these movies came into America, people, this is the first time they saw something like this.
What was this rated?
Well, it was probably rated G. I think it was. I think
It's
I saw this
unrated on the Blu-ray.
Yeah, unrated. But I think G or PG. When this came in, I do remember seeing this in the theater on like a double feature with something else, and it was probably like it was probably like a G or PG. They got away with a lot,
right? That would terrify me as a little boy.
They got away with a lot in the 70s and the 60s. So I would say it wasn't rated that high. And then again, also, of course, when you saw it on television, it was always pretty much cut up and stuff like that. So, all right, well, then probably going to get into just the overall rating. We're going to base on up to 5, and how you think this film affects the genre. In other words, for the 60s sci-fi and going forward, what your interpretation of how effective. I'm going to give it. Obviously, I'm basing it on my love for the film. I'm going to give it 4. I think that's a good rating. The story was a bit on the weak side, but the acting was good. The cinematography and special effects are top notch. I mean, when you're a kid in the 70s, 10 years old, and you're seeing those big, gigantic sets. I mean, this was before Star Wars came out, and you see these big, gigantic sets and the planet, and you got zombies popping up, and then you got the hot blonde naked laying on a slab. What more is there not to like? But there you go. That's true. Look at all of us, at least me. And then I think because I think where this, we started getting more in the late 60s, early 70s, more adult science fiction. You got things like Barbarella here, it was rated R, and Westworld and stuff like that. That was stronger, more adult. And I think this kind of led that way. And it had a twist ending, like we said, which if you go back and watch a lot of the sci-fi, it's very simplistic. So I think it did have a bearing on science fiction. I think a lot of American, you said before, what's his face there from the Abyss, James, I can't think of his name. Right. James Cameron, he probably saw this as a little kid. It influenced him a lot. So I think it did influence filmmakers a lot, these Italian films and these imported science fiction films. I think they did leave a pretty good mark. So I'm gonna give it 4, and it's about average. I can understand though going lesser with the story. Go ahead, Perry.
I think
out of 5.
Out of 5, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give it a solid 3. Just because I really like the way they had the spacesuits. I like the set was cool. I wasn't the biggest fan of the storyline. Like, it just felt like very stretched out.
I appreciate that twist though.
They could have trimmed it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a solid 3 on my end, because I don't think it's something I'm going to rewatch. And if I'm going to recommend a movie from this time or something like this, it's going to be like some Star Trek stuff or maybe some Doctor Who. So,
well, it's got to be a very niche. Got to be a very niche.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to look at Italian sci-fi cinema,
yeah.
I'd recommend this.
It's like sci-fi with hints of horror.
Yeah. If anybody ever asks me, hey Perry, do you know any good Italian sci-fi movies from the 60s? I will make sure to recommend this.
There's a lot of other ones that aren't nearly as good. Believe me, I've watched.
Oh yeah, there definitely is.
I bet.
All right, go ahead, Dylan. What do you think?
Well, I think I'm gonna go style, and from the style, the music, it being 1965 with that twist. I think I'm gonna go 3.69, brother.
There you go. He's keeping it real.
Keeping it real,
going.
dude.
Yeah,
man. The story was
do some 69 with the hot blood.
The story was a little shy in today's age, you know what I mean? But you got to time travel back to 1965 and think how it was for Scarpad when he was just a young buck, 2x2, just hanging in the theater, scared shitless.
I emerged from my mother's womb, and behold, Sci-Fi.
Planet of the Vampires.
Planet of the Vampires.
Like, where the fuck are the vampires, man?
That's right.
But yeah, man.
I popped out like a fucking alien. I said, "What the fuck?"
I was gonna say they freaking Dark. I think Dark Star has a similar plot to this too, man.
Dark Star is wacky though. Yeah, it's wacky.
Yeah.
The beach ball and
It's
shit
been
like that.
so long since I've seen Dark Star.
We may have to do that one eventually at some point.
Yeah.
But
I
think
what's next week?
we'll get into that. We will get to that in a second. So overall, I would say Perry gave it a 3. I gave it a 4. Dylan gave it a 3.69. Put that all in. I think 3.69 is about where we end up. 3.69. The Italians win. You put a couple hot-looking babes in there, we'll tune in for an hour and a half. You better believe me.
Hell yeah, baby.
Throw in some zombies, some gore, some other shit. Hey, there's worse ways to spend it.
I love me my Italians. I think Robbie's doing The Godfather Part 1 next week too.
Yeah.
Right, he's doing them, keeping my talents.
I was debating. They had the Steel Book of Part 1 and Part 2, but not Part 3 for like $12.99. I really like the on 4K.
Yeah, I bought the.
I
box
really
set
like
that
the
had all
regular.
three.
I like the regular 4K artwork better, honestly, than the Steelbook artwork.
Yeah,
I gotta watch that this week. I haven't seen The Godfather yet, so.
Whoa, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, Part 1, you're in for a ride, bro.
You're not taking movies in priority order, then I think.
No, not at all.
Dude, Godfather 1 and 2 are so good, bro.
Yeah,
the greatest movies of all time.
What's the best way to watch it? Is there like a
the way it came out?
The way it came out?
Yeah.
And there was a time where they came out with a set that, because The Godfather 2 kind of has a flashback to before The Godfather 1, and then it goes ahead. And there was a version of it that went in chronological order, but I still say you got to watch them in the way.
Well, now there's like the Coda version for Part 3, which I haven't seen yet.
I have the Coda version. I haven't watched it yet, but it's got to be better than Part 3 wasn't great. So.
No, I never. That was always the hardest one for me to get through.
Let's suppose
the third one.
Third one.
But suppose you the third watch the new version of it because the new version is supposed to be better.
So you might get a good reviewing. But Part 1 and 2, bro, oh my God, they're so good. They are so good, but they're long. They're like 3 hours long.
Damn.
I
think that's why I've been putting it off. If it's like over an hour and 25,
but dude,
an hour 30.
I'm telling you, bro, get in the frame, bro, and just zone out and just dive into that world, bro, because it's so good, bro. It's so deep and rich. It's so good, though, bro. So good.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's you got Goodfellas and The Bronx Tale and
you've seen like mob movies, before, right?
So,
yeah. I watched The Sopranos. I'm from Jersey. Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Well, if you've seen Sopranos, then you know what it is. But dude, The Godfather is what laid the foundation for The Sopranos.
Heck yeah.
Marlon Brando, dude. It's gonna make you look at freaking, because at first when I used to watch it, because I always saw Scarface first, and seeing Al Pacino and everything else,
he was way over the top.
Scarface, he looks so much like Scarface, dude. He looks totally different. Like his hair is like down, like he like almost changed. He like changed himself to Tony Montana in that. Because when I look at him in other movies, like he doesn't look the same. He looked completely.
Scarface was a good movie. It was a great movie, but it's way over the top. If you want to see something that's a little bit more,
But even like Part 1, Michael is like so much of a different character than he is in Part 2.
Well, that's the whole point of the movie.
Carlito's Way.
But he hasn't seen it.
Yeah, his journey is so good. Wait till you see it. But yeah, dude, 3.69, Planet of the Vampires, solid.
Hey,
Terror in Space.
Terror in Space. All right. Well, for our next movie, and really for the next 3 movies, we got coming up 2 really big movies of the 50s for sci-fi. The next one is This Island Earth, that features one of Dylan's favorite Universal horror monsters, the Metaluna Mutant. And that's from 1955. And then after that, we're doing Forbidden Planet, which really was the basis, if you look at it, for Star Trek, 1956 from MGM. Forbidden Planet you see that movie a lot in like Halloween. You see them watching Forbidden Planet because it's a sci-fi movie, but it used to always show on Halloween for some reason.
Yeah.
And then we're going to round up the month with The Last Starfighter from 1985. So we have those
Next
3
week
movies
is-
coming up.
Next week is what?
Next week is This Island Earth.
This Island Earth. And that has the Melatuna mutant in it?
Metaluna mutant, not the Melatuna. Metaluna.
Metal tuna.
And then we're going to do
The metal tuna.
the metal tuna, man. And then we're going to do
boom.
Bop, bop, boom. And then we're going to do Forbidden Planet, featuring everybody's favorite dramatic actor, Leslie Nielsen from The Naked Gun and Airplane. And then from one of the big ones from the 80s there, as I said, Last Starfighter. That was a pretty big movie for me. So that's what's coming up for the next few weeks. So I guess we're pretty much done here. So what's that?
The Last Starfighter is a great one, Robbie. All right, Perry, you got to come on for The Last Starfighter.
The Last Starfighter? All right.
With
Well,
you
the next-
being into the video games heavy, that's perfect.
You're welcome to come on. Anyone you want, just shoot me an email.
Well, I know. I know. I just know that one. You
Yeah.
have to for sure.
And the next two are really good too. This Island
Yeah,
Earth
they're
and,
all great. But I just
This
know
Island Earth
he's
and
a
Planet.
huge video game guy, so
Yeah.
I know that's a good one.
Yeah, that was a big one for in the 80s. That and I think didn't they make? They made a
and
video
you know
game.
who directed it too? The guy, the original Michael Myers, Perry, Nick Castle.
What?
Yeah, Nick
He
Castle.
directed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And the guy that stars in The Last Starfighter, he's in Halloween 2.
Yeah, he's in
Oh,
Halloween, too.
shit.
Yeah.
He plays. Have you seen the original Halloween 2?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
she's in the hospital all the
Yeah.
time. Do you know the weird guy with the curly hair? And he's like, I'm gonna bring you a Coke. He's like always like coming to check on Lori.
He's one of the
Really
paramedics.
young. He's one of the
That's
paramedics.
right.
Yeah.
He's the main character. He's the main guy. in it.
What?
Yeah,
That's so cool.
and he was in a lot of different movies too in the 80s.
He's really good in it though. He's
Yeah.
a lot better in that than I. Because I always like kind of laugh at him in Halloween 2.
Yeah, it was an interesting story, and I think that video game actually went on to become a real video game after they made that
Really?
movie. Yeah,
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a fun movie, dude. For
yeah.
sure.
It also has Robert Preston, the Music Man, who was kind of cast out of type, but he was really good in it as the main guy who picks him up in that movie. So, yeah, those one of the better movies in the 80s. I'm kind of surprised they haven't remade it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same.
Yeah, but very well done. All right, so I hope you guys liked the first show. I know it's a little rough. I got to get my own rating system, but hopefully we'll get going in the next few weeks. And we got some good things in mind coming up. I want to definitely do, coming very soon, Clockwork Orange,
Ooh.
2001,
yeah.
2001, A Space Odyssey. is
Oh,
on
you
my
should have
list.
told me you were doing Clockwork Orange. I would have picked up that 4K.
So, but there's,
2001: Space Odyssey.
yeah, I'm sure it'll be on. It'll be on.
Oh,
sale.
I just watched Eyes Wide Shut last week. That shit was crazy.
Oh,
dude. I
with
was not
Tom
expecting-
Cruise?
With Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
dude. And everybody was fucking. I was like, whoa, what is
Yeah.
going on? This is crazy.
That was very much
yeah.
inspired by the guy that hung himself in jail, though, I think.
What?
Yeah, those parties. Yeah, so coming up some real classics. So, and hopefully some stuff that you haven't watched and you will be watching. So, well, thank everybody for coming on, Dylan and Perry. Perry, what do you got going on there coming up?
I don't know. I just been
Anytime
playing
soon?
games, just bullshitting, you know.
Playing games and bullshit. What
Yeah.
games are you playing at the moment?
The Punisher on Xbox.
Yeah, I know
original
you've been
Xbox.
doing a lot of old school there. Did you
Yeah.
get an Xbox? Is that what you got? Or
Yeah, so I had an Xbox, an original Xbox. It's been broken for years. I couldn't fix it, and Retro Game Shop opened up a couple miles away, and I walked in and they had an Xbox. I'm like, I'll take that, and let me just go and buy this whole shelf full of games, and I'm just gonna play them all. You know, all the shit I couldn't play as a little kid because it was rated M for mature. I'm playing now, Mom. So
Hell yeah.
having fun doing it too.
There's some great games on it.
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
That was my dude. I loved Xbox growing
Yeah,
up.
the original Xbox. I was a beta tester, original beta tester for Xbox Live on the original Xbox.
Oh, that's
the
awesome.
black one.
The original
Yeah.
Xbox, so
Yeah.
good, man.
The
It is
original.
really good.
So
And okay, can you actually hook up with any of those games now and play two player? Or are they pretty much all.
Well,
the
yeah,
phone
you
call?
you could play 2-player, or if you're on like the same LAN connection, you can still have
Mhm.
like you can play LAN together. And if you go and hook it up online, there's some servers online that are still active. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do get into the older games now.
Yeah.
Still.
That's because a lot of the older games are really good and
Oh,
better than what's coming out. And one thing
I saw you
guys
had that Deadly Alliance too. That was an expensive Mortal Kombat game.
Yo, Mortal Kombat's been super fun, dude. Yeah. All these games, I'm like, whoa, the story's like insanely good and the content is packed. There's no updates. I don't gotta spend money. You know, all these games
you don't
like
have
$4.
No downloads.
No downloads.
No update,
I turn it on and I sit and play.
Well, it's nice because now when you go buy a game or you download a game, every time I turn on my Xbox, it's updating something.
A new update.
I went to go live stream Call of Duty. I'm like, all right, guys, let's play Call of Duty. And I'm like, oh, there's an update.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'll be back later.
Oh yeah, when you get a new game, just figure you're not gonna play it for like 2 days because that's how long it takes to.
Yeah.
And now they said too, it really sucks is you go out and buy a physical copy of like Call of Duty, and the only thing that's on that disc is the key.
Yeah.
And that's it. So you're thinking, shit, I got the disc. I'll be playing this like now. Nope, takes just as long because there's nothing on that disc.
Yep,
it's such a joke.
Super annoying.
So,
it's just an installation disc, basically.
So
and if you don't have internet, you're fucked.
To play it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hey Dylan, what do you have coming up? Why don't you tell us what you have coming up?
Well, I got the double feature coming up this Saturday.
And a good one too.
Show. We're doing Kingdom of the Spiders and Eight-Legged Freaks.
I love Eight-Legged Freaks, dude. That movie terrified me so much. I still hate spiders.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
That's such a great movie, dude. With the jumping spiders.
Yeah. And the Kingdom of the Spiders has William Shatner in it.
So. And he'll terrify you just as much.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
I'll have to see if I got a spot. If you're down to join.
Yeah, Saturday. Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. Yeah. What's it called? Kingdom of the Spiders.
Kingdom of the Spiders.
Yeah, I know that's around.
I got him right over here. And I know Robbie was hating on that we had to do this at Kingdom of the Spiders.
Ooh.
What is it? This was in 77. 77, yeah. Yeah.
I love that. What happened to that guy, that actor, dude? He was in Ready to Rumble.
Dude, he was in Scream 5.
Yeah. Oh, he's in the new Scream movie? Okay.
Yeah,
not for long.
Well, he's in it for like half of it.
I know.
What's the Deputy Dewey?
Dewey.
Yeah, Dewey.
Deputy Dewey.
His claim to fame. He was all over the place for a while then. Now, he was married to Courtney Cox, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was giving her.
I don't know how that happened.
He was giving her that D.
He's giving her that Cox.
He's good.
Yeah.
Cox, all right. Well, thank you guys for coming on to the first show.
Dude, intro is fire too. Shout out.
Yeah, the intro was
fire. Robbie helped with the intro.
Did you do the music?
Robbie picked that out.
He picked that good. I didn't know because you were DJing if you did the music, but nice pick on the music too, Robbie. Hell yeah, dude, that was awesome. Dude, I really love that intro with like the special presentation, like the driving.
We'll see if it doesn't get flagged.
And Two Gun said this Island Earth has an upload on YouTube for anyone that wants.
Yeah, this Island Earth should be around. You should be able to find that.
Yeah.
And Kingdom of the Spiders, same thing. Now, Kingdom of the Spiders, and I think both Kingdom. For you. Kingdom of the Spiders and This Island Earth both have riff track or MS3 Mystery Science Theater versions. Please try to watch the original. Don't watch it with the Mystery Science Theater. There's reasons why they are kind of funny, but try to find the originals first before you go with the riff tracks version of them. So just a little thing there. All right. So anybody else? Anything else coming up? That's it for the week from everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so join us. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by, and anybody who's watching this on the rewind. And hopefully, what will happen is Robbie will be back to doing Mondays, I think, next week. And he'll be
tonight. So
he's not going tonight, but I know next week he'll be back. And what we're going to try to do is keep this under an hour, so that way people can come on this show and then go to Robbie and vice versa. So you have an evening of entertainment. We'll talk about 70s and 80s Bush if it's in the movie. No 60s Bush in this one. Maybe there should have been.
Sadly.
Especially with that girl there, that blonde. All right, guys, we'll
Hey,
catch you
right.
later. We'll see you
Yeah.
next week for this
The fire.
island, Earth, Universal
Firecracker.
science fiction, man. Thank you guys for coming on. And
They're in
we'll-
space.
They're in space, baby. We'll catch you later.